All right, guys, we're about to start the cold call training where agents are going to learn how to cold call, prospect, and most important, get listings. If you're in a sales business and you're trying to figure out how to promote yourself, whether it's online or calling people to try to get more business, this is a great video for you guys to watch. And if it's your first time to the channel, please make sure you like and subscribe.
I need your loving, so fresh, so clean. Love me in and out, unfailingly, and I'll be down now. Anytime.
All right, guys,
you
welcome.
call
I
me,
appreciate you
I'll
all
be
coming.
down.
It means a lot to me. Who here is a realtor? Newly licensed or even experienced, doesn't matter. A lot of realtors. Who here is not a realtor, but in sales? All hands should be up. We are all in sales, every single one of you. Whether you're a realtor, whether you're an attorney, whether you're a doctor, whatever it is, cars, you guys are all in sales. So these are all things that you guys need to know, and it'll help you sharpen your skills no matter what you're selling. If you're a doctor, what are you selling? You're selling yourself, right? To patients. Sales involves every single aspect of everybody's life. So it's super important to be good at sales. All right? This class is about cold call training. Cold call training is, in my opinion, it's the key to my success, but it can change your life. 1,000 proper cold calls can change your life. And I've brought it down to a science. 1,000 proper cold calls can change your life with 40 proper phone calls a week. Do you guys understand that? If you guys want to take notes, feel free on your phone. 40 proper phone calls a week. That is not a big deal. How long would it take you to make $1 million and build an incredible business? It'll take you 2 years. If you want to make 80 solid phone calls a week, that's fine. But with just 40 solid phone calls a week, you should be able to book 2 appointments. And if you're a good realtor, you should be able to land them. And if you have a client, it doesn't matter. So the key is 40 solid phone calls a week, 2 appointments a week. If you do that for 2 years solid, and you don't fuck around, you guys can make a lot of money. And on top of that, real estate's a business that it pays you tenfold. Whatever you guys do now in real estate, even if you don't get an appointment or a listing, it'll pay you tenfold. That listing might come 6 months from now. That buyer might come a year from now. Whether it's a referral or they bought a house with another realtor, guess what? They could still call you. So that's my key to success, 1,000 phone calls. That's 40 solid calls. What do I mean by a solid call? Anybody?
Quality conversation.
Quality conversation with
Potential appointment.
a solid person who's actually interested in your services. If somebody needs your help with something, that's a solid appointment. But they just don't know about you. If they don't know about you, how are they going to use you? So I always time block. I don't do this anymore, I'll be honest with you guys. Right now I'm just servicing the business that I'm getting. And that business that I'm getting is business that I've gotten because I put in the work years ago, pre-COVID. You know, when I started, I was cold calling 8 hours a day. I didn't care. So imagine how much. The way I look at it is every appointment that you guys get is a cinder block in the foundation of your business. Every cinder block that you lay down in the foundation of your business is going to build a business that's going to last forever. Do you guys hear people complaining about the market? They don't have clients. They're not busy. They're struggling. They're making less than 200 grand a year. It's because they didn't build a solid business. Okay. So if you spend 1 hour a day, limit yourself to 40 phone calls, because I'm realistic now. When I first opened up this office, I would harass the realtors in this office to make 1,000 phone calls a week. I've come to realize that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. Nobody's doing that. Nobody has that drive or time. You guys have families. I understand. Life is different. So you guys should really target 40 solid phone calls a week and 2 appointments. And you should try to do those 40 solid phone calls within the first hour of whatever you're in the office. Don't check your email. Don't call back a client. Don't look at an inspection report. Don't book appointments. Don't get caught up. Get off of Instagram. Get off of Facebook. Spend the first hour you sit down in the morning to prospect and make calls. Just give me 1 hour. That's all I need. 1 hour, 40 calls, 2 appointments. All right? Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, good. All right, so before you make phone calls, this is really important. Ari, I'm gonna have you jump in here. Sure. Ari is my dialer. I am now, guys, meet Ari. Ari, how long you been cold calling?
For you or?
No, in general.
Probably over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Yeah.
All Ari does is cold call. All right, so you guys are very lucky to have him here. I actually Ubered him from New York. He lives in New York. All right? So Ari is amazing. I've luckily built a business where I don't have to cold call. But I now want to target a different clientele. I want to target a clientele 3 million and up. And honestly, I just don't have time to cold call. So I hired Ari. And Ari has been cold calling for over 10 years. He, how did I meet you? I don't even know. Oh, you referred me to that Chatham client. Ari was cold calling and he was looking for realtors to get a listing that he got cold calling. He's not even a realtor. And he got a listing cold calling. It was a $2.6 million listing in Chatham Township, right? And he's like, I'm looking for a realtor. It's been listed a few times with other realtors from Chatham and they can't sell it. I saw you online. I'm giving you a call. And I'm like, this guy's full of shit. This guy just wants like $1,000 from me or something, right? Ends up is real. I went on the appointment. I got the listing and I sold it in 6 days, right? Okay, so that's how I met Ari. And I just liked his vibe on the phone. And I think what I want to say to you guys is mindset before you pick up the phone is important. Because if you don't have the right mindset or energy from the second you pick up that phone or the second you sit down to make phone calls, you're not going to be successful. You're going to waste your time. There's a lot of people that sit down and make phone calls for months and have no appointments, and they just waste their time. I want you guys, when I say solid appointments, I want solid appointments. So your mindset and your energy is very, very important. Ari, what's your mindset when you're picking up the phone?
So I am super confident. Like we talk about this all the time. When I call a seller, in my mindset is like they are benefiting from talking to me. You know, because we're gonna make them money. We're gonna, provide them with what they're looking for. So what you said before is important because when I make calls, when I jump on the phone, if I'm lazy or tired, I had a rough night last night. Every time I jump on the phones, literally nothing happens. I might get lucky and someone to say, hey, you know what, I'm looking to sell. But when I jump on the phones and I'm like, I'm gonna kill it today, I'm gonna get appointments, I feel good, I can talk, I'm awake, I'm energetic, it never fails. So I don't know if I told you this, Joe, I'm averaging appointment every hour and a half. I'm on the phones.
Yeah, it's true. Go ahead.
Can we hear him role play like?
We will again.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just want to have him say that because I don't want to just say it and then you guys say, oh yeah, that's cool, and then you brush past it. I want you guys to say it and take it with a grain of salt every single day you call, which should be 5 days a week. Honestly, when I first started in the business, if I wasn't feeling right or if I was in a bad mood or had a deal fall apart, I wouldn't call. Because that mood, that energy will change you guys. I'm going to go into reading a room, and by room I mean the call, because the second that call is picked up, you guys are now in a room together. Reading the room within the first 2 seconds of the call, I'm going to dive into that later. But we're not just realtors. We are therapists. We are financial advisors. We do everything for the client, right? But we also have to be able to analyze everything that happens in a phone call. From the tone to how they answer to you guys should be able to, this is crazy to say, but you should be able to feel how they're feeling when they pick up the phone. Does that make any sense? I know that sounds crazy, but you guys really need to know that. I'm not just going to give you guys a cold call training. I want to teach you guys how to read people. So that's why when I first started and I wasn't feeling well and I wasn't in the mood, I just would not call. And I'd say, you know what? It's 40 calls for the next day, 40 more for the next day. Because I know I'm going to make 80 better dials than 40 shitty dials today.
And you know what, Joe, I'm sorry to chime in. If you really think about it, you know, you're sitting there, you're making, like you said, 40 calls a day, right? You're not blowing money, you're talking on the phone, and one deal can make you, you know, just by being on the phone.
$86,000.
Exactly.
what the
Just by
commission
getting
check
one
was
good
for chat.
conversation with somebody.
That was at a time where they weren't wiring commission checks. I was one of the first realtors in the office to have my commission wired. $86,000. I spent like $7,000 to get it closed, but that's an $86,000 phone call. Think about that. That's fucking crazy. And if you really think about, like, it doesn't have to be that price point. Say you're doing a $500,000 price point. $500,000 price point is $10,000. If you get both sides, it's $20,000. If they refer you 2 people, that's $60,000. When I say it's a cinder block in your business, I mean it. You guys are literally building a house, and your business is the house. So, reading the room, the phone call room, is super important. The actual call, when you guys are on the actual call, and if you guys want to take notes, feel free. There's 4 steps. I've simplified it. I thought about this a lot. Because if you Google cold call trainings and you watch cold call trainings, it's like 12 steps. It's fucking crazy. I got it down to 4. All right? The first step is to figure out the purpose of the call. And that changes with every single house. Same thing when you're selling a house. Why is the buyer buying the house? Why is the seller selling the house? Every single house, every single person that owns that house, or every single house and every single person that wants to buy that house is situational. So it's super important to read that situation and figure out the purpose of the call or the sell or the buy. What is the purpose? Why are you calling John to sell his Cape Cod in Belleville? Why? It's situational. I'm going to deep dive into all of these, by the way. The second out of 4 is the introduction. When I say introduction, I'm going to break it down to 2 things. The first 2 seconds and the first 60 seconds. Ari?
Yeah.
First 2 seconds, talk about it.
Again, what you said is important. The minute the guy picks up the phone. So with me, I have a couple of, I guess, I don't usually use a script. Like you said, whenever the person picks up the phone. Well, first of all, when I call with Joe, I think I gave you this example, Joe. I worked with a realtor before. I gave the guy 7 leads. Guy calls me back 2 days later and then asks me what the leads are. So right there, you know, subconsciously, I lost my confidence in this guy. When I'm calling up, you know, I still have to be confident, but, you know, I'm saying to myself, this guy, you know, is not following up. So when I work with Joe, again, I'm very confident that person picks up. And I don't know if I said this before, in my mind, I say that these sellers need us more than we need them. You know, especially because I know like Joe's on the ball. So when the first, like you said before, when the person picks up, you got to get a good read on them. Are you going to be clever? Are you going to be funny? I mean, one lady said something to me funny here. I think it was her. So right there, I remember her because she said that. So if you can do that on the cold call, the minute the person picks up, if you could say something funny, something clever, something to remember, then you buy, then you're in there. Remember, these people get calls all the time. If you are a little different, that's one of my tricks. If you are a little different, a little clever, something that they can remember you by, then you can start a conversation.
But you said something to me that really struck home. When someone picks up the phone and they're angry, you can sense they're angry, you won't make a joke, right?
Correct. I mean, yes and no. I mean, if they pick up the phone and they're angry, you have to like go through with your pitch. Again, you can't let the person on the other line sway what you're saying or what the point you're doing.
Or how you're feeling.
Exactly. You're there to say, hey, you know, I'm going to put you in contact with Joe. He's going to sell your house. You know, he's going to do you well. So, you know, there's situations where, you know, I hear this all the time. Oh, you know, again, one of you guys again? you know? But I countered that like, well, I'm not one of those guys. You know, you've probably talked to other brokers, but you haven't talked to this broker. You know, so again, if you can combo that in with something clever or something funny, I think they'll remember you got a good chance to start a conversation with them.
So what is he doing?
And an initial benefit statement.
100%. I think the baseline, how you're feeling when you pick up the phone call, when you pick up to make phone calls, you need to subconsciously always be thinking of how you can build value and deflect any rejection or negativity that the person on the other line is throwing your way, because it's coming. You pick up that phone, it's coming. I'm not interested. I already have a realtor. I'm good. Don't call me. You need to deflect all of that and subconsciously always be thinking how to build value and stay positive. Super important. So we got purpose. What is the purpose of the phone call? We have the introduction, the first 2 seconds and the first 60 seconds, right? And then what's step 3? Build value, right? Build value and sell value. I'll give you a brief example. Hey, how are you, Mr. Seller? My name is Joseph. I sold a house down the street. I had 15 offers on it. Just so you know, I'm calling up the neighborhood. 14 of those offers didn't get the house, obviously, but they're still looking for a house. Are you free for a 10-minute home evaluation? I just need 10 minutes of your time. I'll deep dive into that later, but that's what selling value looks like, right?
Joe, can I chime in?
Yeah.
One of my tricks is, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to, what your point is, I don't ask questions on the phone. Because I say, I don't ask them if, I say we give free home evaluations. Like I take charge on the phone. That's one of my tricks. Because when you ask people something, most of the time you're gonna get a no. Does that make sense? So I don't mean to, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
So, you know, we've got 15 offers on this house. I want to set up an appointment with you. Does next week work? Like take control. I take control over the phone with the seller.
What happens if the seller tries to take control back?
I still go at it.
I'm not available, I'll let you know.
Say it again?
I'm not available next week, I'll let you know when I am.
When's a good time to call next week? But listen, sir, you know, I make a ton of calls. You know, I'm going to give you a call back. But Joe's a busy guy. If we can put it in the calendar right now, it would make my life easier. And again, like I said, then I push value again.
Perfect.
So I'm always
So what did you do? You did 2 things.
Deflect.
You went to step 4, which is ask for the appointment, and you deflected.
I had one guy, he's a Russian gentleman, picked up, and tough guy. He kept telling me, this was 2 days ago actually. He goes, yeah, I want to talk about my house, he said. Perfect. When can we come see it? Call me in October. Okay, October. I go, you know, I think I told me you're probably, I said, I don't remember what I said. I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. He hung up on me. He got annoyed. But I didn't care though, because I kept pushing. Because you know, in October, who knows what's gonna happen?
Sounds like we lost a good deal.
Well, I mean, I'll follow up with him in October, but I know what you're saying. So, like again, I don't get intimidated. I don't let the other person take control, and I don't ask questions. I don't ask questions for answers that I want to. Can I book an appointment? When can I book an appointment? When can we come by? Where Joe is 10 minutes away. He can be there tomorrow if you need him to.
Yeah, that's a key one. When you're selling value, I'm going to dive into that too. Associating, like if you're calling in Saddlebrook, right? Hey, how are you? I actually am your neighbor in Saddlebrook, and I'm calling up everybody in Saddlebrook to give them a 10-minute free home evaluation. When are you free next week so I can book an appointment? What time are you free? I'm available all next week, right? But ask for the appointment. You guys have to ask for the appointment. And don't you dare talk through the close. Don't you dare talk through the close. If somebody says, yes, I'm available next week, right? You say, perfect, I'm gonna lock you in for Thursday, 8 o'clock. Does that work? Shut the fuck up. Don't oversell.
Gets you into trouble.
I've talked through the close. I've fucked up my own sales. I'm telling you guys all of this from years of experience. So let's dive into them. I would say to deep dive into purpose a little bit more. What are 3 things you guys need to do from the beginning of the phone call to the end of the phone call? Get the contact info and email. I would say email is number 1. Because what can you do with an email? You already have their name, you have their number, you have their address. What don't you have? You don't have their email, right? So I'm baseline saying you need everybody's email. Email is key because you can send them a seller's evaluation report and you can put them on a drip campaign in your CRM. So email is very important. Obviously, you have all their information, and when you're calling, you're verifying that they're John, who owns this house, and this is his number in Saddlebrook. But you don't have his right email because people change their emails, whatever. Email, build a connection, appointment. That's purpose. Email, build a connection, and appointment. That's purpose. All right? The first 2 seconds are important. The first 60 seconds are even more important. Ari, what are you saying in the first 60 seconds of a call? You talked about the first 2. What about the next 60 seconds?
Well, one thing so I've done cold calling for everything. When I started doing the real estate, it seemed a little harder, but then as the more I did it, the more I started getting, better, my BS started flowing a little more. One thing that I don't like to people, one thing that I do with you is that I can tell, I hear him gasping on the phone when I say, hey, Joe's done over $200 million in sales. And the minute they hear that, you hear him stop. And then I'm in control of that call. Does business here, does business there.
So pause real quick because not everybody in this room has that. So what would you say for somebody who is starting out or maybe just has a few sales under their name? What would you say for them?
Well, that's a tough question.
That is tough because you're not a realtor, but
I'm not a realtor. I mean,
Dan.
I guess they could. I can come back to that. Let me think about it. I guess they can say, hey, I work in this office and we do this, and this.
Do you guys see what Ari's doing right now? He's not a realtor. He doesn't have the answer, but he's coming back to it. He's not saying, I don't know. See how quick he is on his feet? I think that's just a personality trait that he has that you guys all need to develop. Super important. Dan, you were going to say?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You want to go? I'm sorry. That's very important. You got to be quick on your feet. You have to remember, these people are trusting you to sell their house and make them money. Right? So
You're dealing with somebody's biggest asset and
Exactly.
best asset.
So you have to project strength. You have to project being smart. You have to project you know what you're doing.
So Magdi just said my team and I.
Yeah. So the minute, I'm home, right? And I get a call from somebody. I told you this, Joe. I don't know where this guy was from. He spoke with an accent. Hello? Hey, do you want to sell your house? Like, who are you? So
Somebody cold called you and said that?
Yeah.
That's
I think
crazy.
it was you, I'm kidding. So you have to project all those things in the call. Again, if I'm selling my house, I want somebody, my parents were thinking about selling the house. So there's a broker in my neighborhood, does a lot of business. If we ever sell it, maybe. But I know the guy, I've done business with him. He's sharp, he's smart, no business, fast talker, So that's what you have to kind of project on the phone. These people, again, are trusting you with this. So if they sense you're slipping up, you don't know what you're talking about, you make a mistake, listen, you're gonna make a mistake, you might mess up on the call and get hung up on, or I don't wanna deal with you, right? But that's how you learn. But you have to project those things on the phone.
So we're in July. I'm personally at like 27 million in sales. The office is at like 26. So this combined is over $50 million in sales. So when I say whatever office you're with, some of you aren't part of this office, use your office as your crutch. My team and I have sold over $250 million in real estate. And we are just offering a free home evaluation. I'll be in your area next week. Can I come by? I started saying 10-minute home evaluation. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. I found it works in the $1 million and up price point. It's my personal experience.
Joe, I'm sorry to cut you off. We're about to book him. The guy with the dock, the $5 million house.
Oh, yeah.
So you know what I told him?
What?
I told him the numbers you do. And he's like, oh. I was like, listen, you're going to learn something from Joe that you probably don't know. And I got him. You know, what do you have to lose? 15 minutes.
We got an appointment, $5.5 million house. The guy has a fucking dock. He is on a lake and he has a dock and jet skis in Saddle River. What the fuck? Like, I'll go on that appointment just to go. I want to be that guy's friend. You know, if I don't get it, I don't get it. At least I know him. So, what was the purpose of you saying that?
I told the guy that, you know, you're going to learn something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Joe's been doing this a long time. You know.
So that goes into my next point. Know who you're talking to. Because he's talking to a guy who owns a $5 million house, right? That guy who owns a $5 million house, what he said to him probably bothered him, right? Because he's like, oh, maybe I can learn something. I think people who are educated are always down to learn. I feel like that's why you guys are all here, right? You guys are here to learn how to cold call and make money. We're all here to make money. I don't give a fuck if you like real estate or not. We all like money. Do with the money as you wish. Buy homes, buy watches, buy cars, it doesn't matter. But we all like money. You all want to have a nice lifestyle. You need money to do that. They say money doesn't buy you happiness, but it buys you the time to do whatever you want. Right? So, Ari, you also said you have to know how to answer questions. What do you mean by that?
Correct. I'm not a broker. So a few times they'll ask me something. And, you know, because I've been doing sales a long time, I say, this is what Joe's for. You know, one thing that I do right now is I do three-way calls. So if I get someone who's super interesting, I connect them with my brokers. I kind of spoil them a little bit because now they're like, oh, I want to be on the front of the computer. So when they ask me a question I don't answer, I know a little bit about real estate, obviously as much as you guys do. I say, that's an excellent question, right? And I'm going to get Joe to answer it. So obviously, I mean, for me, when someone starts asking me questions, it's almost 90% I'm booking that appointment because obviously they're showing interest, right? They're asking me questions. So I'm not going to answer and make myself look bad. I'm going to say I'm going to redirect you, and Joe's going to answer that question. When are you free? You know, he can answer that when he comes and sees you. You know, so I put a little mind games with them. You know, when he comes, does the home evaluation, he's going to answer that and everything else that you're looking for, or any other questions that you have.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever said, hey, is this a good time? Or, hey, how are you?
Never.
Don't fucking do that.
Never.
Hey, how are you? What? Who the fuck cares? I don't know you. Hey, is this a good time?
No.
That's a dead-end question. Please. I've heard people cold call and they say that and they're already done. And the crazy part is that, hey, how are you? Or hey, is this a good time? That guy could own a $2 million house.
You know what I do? I'm sorry to cut you off again.
Uh-huh.
Again, I do the complete opposite because, you know, you guys don't know me, but I'm a jokester. I joke around a lot. They say I'm calling John Smith. Hey, John, what's going on? Like, who the hell is this guy? Hey, this is Ari. I work with Joe from Prestige, and I go into my pitch. But I get him to listen to me. I don't get hung up anymore at all.
I think I have to say, like, the reason that we're successful as a team is your approach is like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? Like, you guys fucking know each other. My approach is like confused and asking information. My approach, no, seriously. This is amazing. And this fucking works. I'm telling you guys. I've gotten listings I shouldn't have gotten this way. Hey, are you John? Do you still own that house in Ridgewood? I'm just trying to find the owner. He's like, yeah, why? I'm confused and I just want information. You have to be different. I think, I'll just say this is controversial. You guys take it with a grain of salt. Those are the two best approaches. Confused and getting information, or we're fucking friends for life.
Joe, I just want to backtrack and I want to emphasize something that you said earlier. And although I'm not in the real estate business, right, I'm an attorney. But
There's an attorney, if anybody's getting sued, feel free to call Dave.
But like you said, everybody's in sales, right? And I think a big part of what you're talking about is being prepared for that call and being able to anticipate what sort of scenarios might come up on that call. And I think that's where my business and your business is very similar. And I want to go back to that point that you made about the team, because nobody's really isolated on some island, right?
Yeah.
You're part of a team and your team has a lot of strengths and some of those that you might not have, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'll give an example. I mean, a couple months ago, I had somebody reach out and say, hey, I'm selling my pharmacy and I need an attorney to help me work out this deal. do you do, sales of pharmacies? I said, it's funny you asked me that because my associate is actually a PharmD JD. He was a pharmacist and he's an attorney. And so, yeah, my team does that. We do that kind of work. That's exactly what we do. And I didn't have to say me. It's not me. It's my team. And he's my associate and he works in the office right next to me. And he's a pharmacist just like you.
100%.
So I think me being prepared for that call and anticipating that's a question he might ask, I think that was helpful. So
I love that. Crutch. Use your team as a crutch. Shadi?
Two things, Joe. Sorry, my voice is off. So two things. I work for a structural engineering firm, and we're in New York City, and there's hundreds of competition around this. So we're always trying to get architects. So with our marketing team, we said we need to work on our elevator pitch. You ever heard of an elevator pitch? It's pretty self-explanatory. So an elevator pitch is almost like a cold call. It's you have to introduce yourself, connect with the client, and then sell your services in the same amount of time you're riding an elevator with someone. That's how fast it has to be. So we sat there for weeks, 4 different associates, coming up with ideas, and we settled on, here's our elevator pitch for our structural engineering firm. The other thing I wanted to mention, similar to what Dave said, especially about the my team thing, the CEO of my company, I work for a privately owned structural engineering firm. But if we were public, we would be on the Fortune 500. The CEO was visiting once, and he said, for example, we want to do more healthcare projects in New York, which we don't have a lot of. So one of the engineers would say, we haven't done a lot in our office, but in another office, they've done a lot. So he's like, don't even say that. You just say, the name of the firm has done design, build, ground up hospitals
Yeah.
to small little shielding rooms, they call it. So he said, always use the team. Don't use your office individually, or for you guys yourselves individually. Connect, use the team.
So use your team as a crutch. Very important. So anyway, those two approaches I think are amazing. One of the approaches that I don't do this. I want to tell you guys about it because this is a cold call training. I've never used this. I've seen people do this. I used to be with a small company called Modern Realty. It was like under a bridge in Moonachie. And I used to sit in the corner when I first got my license, and I would just listen to everybody in the office. And back then, everybody was in the office. And this guy used to literally say, hey, this is a cold call. If you don't have 30 seconds, feel free to hang up. It worked for him. Hey, this is a cold call. I'm calling to sell you a service. I need 30 seconds of your time. If you don't have 30 seconds, feel free to hang up. And his tone and demeanor was light-hearted, and 50% of the time he got clicked on. The other 50% of the time he had a nice conversation. So I want you guys to know about that. I don't do that. I do the two approaches, like we're fucking boys, or lost and confused. So lost and confused, hey, how are you? My name is Joseph. Are you John? Do you still own the house on 123 Cold Call Avenue? That will lead this person on the other end to say, yes, I do. Why are you calling me? Right? Sorry, I think I deleted like a sentence. Well, I just sold a house on so-and-so Ave, and we had about 20 offers on that house, and it went crazy over asking. If I did the same for you and got you a crazy number for your home, would you ever consider selling? Hey, how are you? I'm Joseph. I just sold a house. I'm not stopping at, hey, how are you? If you stop at, that's what I meant before. Hey, how are you? Or, hey, is this a good time to talk? You don't stop at that. You can say it briefly. However you guys feel comfortable, you'll get in the zone. It's not even a question. It's just like, hey, how are you? I'm Joseph. I just sold a house down the street. I had 20 offers. Crazy over asking. Do you guys hear my tonality? Hey, I'm Joseph. I just literally sold a house right next door to you. It went crazy over asking. Exactly. If I got you a crazy offer for your house, because I still have a lot of buyers left over, would you ever consider selling? Now, if it's John and his wife, and they want to sell 6 months from now, bet your ass you're going to meet them. People's lives change. Their situations change. They might not think of selling now. They might sell in the future. They might sell tomorrow. They might have no choice but to sell. But as long as you're there and you can get your foot in the door, you're good. If you're good in person. If you're not good in person, I can't help you. That's not in my control. But my rules are, if I get my foot in the door and I come to your house, I'm 90% getting that listing. Sir?
At what point in the cold call do you disclose that you're a realtor? Because I find that a very difficult thing to do because you don't want to have them.
You're never disclosing. It's known. Hi, my name is Joseph. I just sold a house down the street and went crazy over asking. I'm saying it without saying it. Ryan Serhant does this thing where if you guys watch Owning Manhattan, I loved it. And I think I'm the only one who picks up on it. He sells his brand without directly selling his brand. Throughout the entire show, I picked up on this. He talks so good about his brokerage and how good the agents at his brokerage do without saying how good his brokerage is and how good the agents at his brokerage do. Watch the show and tell me if you pick up on that. It's called indirect selling. Indirect selling is so important. You're indirect dropping information without actually saying it. Hey, how are you? I'm Joseph. I just sold a house down the street. What do they know by that? They know that I'm a realtor and I must be pretty fucking good. Right? Did I say I'm a realtor? Did I say I'm pretty fucking good? No. Right? A lot of times, if you're really fucking good and you're good on the phone and they start asking you questions or they start telling you about the house, I've learned to just take as much information in as I can. Because if you get a phone call, you'll slowly start to realize sellers will give you information if they're genuinely interested in selling their house. Right? And you could do the same thing with buyers, but this isn't that training. But you could do the same thing with buyers. Whenever you meet somebody and they're interested in something, they will give you information. It's key. You guys had to know how to take that information and use it later. I went on a showing as a realtor, right? I represented the buyer. Guy opens the door. He's got a dog in his arm. He's like, hey, welcome. Oh, come on in, guys. All the furniture can stay or you could buy it. I got it all in the divorce. It's great. Anyway, I can't wait to move to Florida. I bought a house down there. He goes, so if you guys are interested, tell me right away because I'm paying 2 mortgages. And I look at this guy, I'm like, this guy's fucking dumb. Holy shit. This guy just told me he's desperate to sell this. He needs a quick offer. He is divorced. He's a weirdo. But all this information we got, I think realtors are kind of like attorneys for their clients. Same, which without the degree, you know. You're just gathering information, using it against whoever you're up against. Right? I had a listing in Franklin Lakes. Listed for $750. I did the open house myself. Saturday, Sunday. I had 40 people on Sunday, 50 people on Saturday. No joke. I was like, fuck, we're going to get offers, baby. Let's go. Highest and best set for Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Wednesday, 5 o'clock comes. Guess how many offers I got? 0. I got 1 offer for asking price. I couldn't fucking believe it. And it was the offer. I knew who was going to make the offer. It was this lady. She came up to me at the open house without her realtor. And she's like, I've been trying to buy in this complex for 4 years. I keep getting outbid. I look at her, is that so? That sucks. So she made the offer. She made the offer for asking price. She made the offer for asking price. So I called her realtor, and this is okay, because I represent the seller. I don't represent the buyer. I called her realtor, and I said, hey, listen, I'm calling you out of courtesy. Your client came to the open house, and she expressed everything that she's been going through the past 4 years, and I genuinely feel bad for her. But her number's not going to get it done. If she can go to 800, it's hers. Guess what she did? Her realtor convinced her to go to 800,000. And the seller got 50 grand more because her client came to the open house and divulged too much information. So you guys need to do the same thing on a phone call. It's very important. What? What'd you say? No. hell? 50 grand in the mortgage. Yeah, it's better than renting. Listen. Okay. The last part of this training is closing, asking for the appointment. When can I come check out the property so I can give you a free home evaluation? I only need 10 minutes of your time. It's obviously not 10 minutes. You're just getting your foot in the door. When can I come check out your house? I'll be in town next week. When can I come give you a free 10-minute home evaluation? If you're getting a lot of pushback, there's two things that are going to happen. There's a dud, which is whatever, bye. And there's somebody who just won't set an appointment with you. They're just not ready. It's fine. That's why I said email is super important. So, listen, I know you're not ready yet, but I'd like to stay on your radar. Can I get your email? I'm just going to send you a free evaluation in a PDF format, so you have it. You can use that to refinance. You can use it just to know the value of your home so you understand the market. You own this piece of property. These are things you should know. I just want you to know what's going on in the neighborhood. And I can email you an updated version every 6 months. No rush, no pressure. I'm telling you, people like information, especially if it comes from somebody who sounds educated, from somebody who is confused and just looking for information, or somebody who's friendly, that's just trying to help. That's what we're doing. Anything?
No, I was gonna say, it seems like you're confused or that like reaching out as like you know the person. What you're really doing is causing them to be curious to stay on the phone. Cause like, who's this? Do I know this person? You know, so you kind of want to stay on the phone and stay engaged, because it seems like you're making them curious as to who's this person behind the line.
Yeah. Once you lock in the appointment, there's a 25% chance they're going to cancel on you. Just follow up, follow up, follow up. You have all the information. Email, address, verified, phone number verified. Oh, it's all verified. You should be sending letters. You should be emailing. You should be drip campaigning. You should be sending updated sellers reports. Put it in a CRM. I don't care what you use. Just follow up, follow up, follow up. Just get your foot in the door and follow up. Now, I had this whole section on prospecting, right? Being prepared, prospecting. There's 3 things that we use in this office. RPR is free to all realtors. It gives you a foreclosure list in red. I have a video on that. I'm going to send it to you guys because I have everybody's email. Mojo Dialer, which we pay for in this office, it's included. And Property Radar, which we also pay for in this office, is included. If you're a realtor in this office, that's what you get. Now, some of you guys might take the approach of calling for sale by owners, right? I think calling a for sale by owner is like there's a knife in the chair and you're just sitting on the knife and then you're starting your calling session. You're getting somebody who wants to sell their house, but they definitely don't want to hire a realtor, right? They know that. That's the one thing they know. They don't know how to sell their fucking house, but they know that they don't want to hire a realtor, and they probably are overpricing their home. And I mean, I think that's the worst way to call. I would personally like to get in between that step where the house is listed already. I want to get in between that step. I advise you guys to make phone calls from Property Radar and all these other things, because somebody might be selling in 6 months, somebody might know somebody that's selling, but you're there before. For sale by owners are usually, I hate to say it, either overeducated or undereducated. They're overeducated in everything but real estate, and a lot of times they're undereducated in everything in general. I hate to say that, but it's true. Because if you hire a good realtor to sell your house, it's going to make a difference. It really is. I'm not just saying that for the camera. It's true. It'll sell faster. It'll sell for more. There'll be less problems. Right? Can we all agree we're realtors? But if you hire a bad realtor, the problem is it could be a worse transaction. Right? Anthony?
What do you say to people that say that like, my house sells itself?
Ari?
Have you sold it yet?
See how quick?
What I'm saying as far as like hiring a specific, like when you choose a realtor, like just like my house literally like, it sells on its own. Have you seen the market? Like things are selling over asking everywhere. Like, what's your...
So that's if you're calling them for sale by owner, right?
something, yeah, for sale by owner or something that's kind of interesting.
I personally don't call for sale by owners, right? We don't call at all.
Some of my clients want me to do it. And you hear the same thing, bring me a buyer, then we'll sell it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm at a point in my career where I don't need to beg for business. You guys can do whatever you want. For sale by owners are great. I did call for sale by owners when I first got licensed because I couldn't afford to pay for Property Radar or Mojo Dialer. So definitely, but in my opinion, I'd rather be before they list their house, right? Because if somebody lists their house for sale by owner, right, and it's not selling, that's a bad history. It's there on Zillow. Oh, look, this guy tried to sell it for an $850. What a jerk off. Now it's not selling. Now it's listed with a realtor for $799. It's a bad look. If you make 40 dials and one is good, like just an appointment, or one is a future appointment, it's fine. This is all supplemental to your business, guys. This is not everything. I've gotten listings where there's family members that are realtors. Happens all the time. Some people just don't want to use family. Those are the people that you want. But if people are tied to their family, I don't see it happening. Like I literally got referred to a listing in Saddlebrook recently with a pool. And I had an hour-long conversation with the lady. We made a great connection. And she said, yeah, if you have a buyer, bring it to me. But if I have to list it, I have to list it with my cousin. And then I went into this whole spiel about how I have all this sales experience. I've sold way more than her cousin. I asked her for her cousin's name. I looked him up, went on Zillow, one sale in the last 12 months. I said all of that. And it just didn't work. Family, yeah, you can't mess with that. Oscar, you had a question?
I was gonna say, if you have somebody with that kind of objection, you could always hit them with a feel, felt, found. Like,
A what? Say
A
that
feel,
again?
felt, found. So you acknowledge what their, let's say, what their objection is, right? Like, oh, I figure I could sell the house myself, or I'll list it with my cousin. All right, well, I understand that that's logical in some respects, like you feel that way, right? I've had other customers or other clients who also had a similar objection or similar situation where it's either a family member or they feel they could sell the house themselves. What we found though is, because at that point, if you're dominating the conversation, you're expressing expertise, like you sound knowledgeable, we found that we've been able to sell a house, 30 days faster than with an amateur listing agent, or we've been able to help, FSBO houses don't really sell that quickly. We found that we could sell a house in 30 days when it's priced properly for the market that you're in. So you hit them with the feel, felt, found. You're getting micro agreements from the feel, felt, found, and you're also changing the trajectory of the conversation.
Amazing. What was found again?
We found this, so you've already established that you've got the expertise.
What's spelled?
I feel, you're acknowledging what they feel, right? So
Oh,
you're saying,
feel,
I can
felt,
sell the
found.
house myself, right? You're like, okay, I understand that. I know why I could see how you think you can sell your house in this market. It's a hot market, that's how it goes. Now, I've had other customers or other clients who've felt the same way, who've expressed the same objection that you have. What we've found, because you've established obviously the expertise, we found is that when you're contracting a professional broker, somebody who's had experience in, let's say, Bergen County with $2 million listings, you're going to sell your house significantly faster as opposed to trying to sell it yourself. Right? And what's that? You're offering value, you're saving them time, and for people who got
Sound
money,
like a
time is
realtor.
exploring. What?
He's not even a realtor, guys.
I was a broker at like 19.
You were?
Yeah, that's a different lifetime. That's a methodology, like a
I
common
love
sense
that.
methodology that's in place.
I love that. I appreciate you sharing, man. Thank you.
Sure. It's like disarming by validation. Sure. Yeah. You're acknowledging. You're also at that time pivoting because you're also like acknowledging. Then you have the conjecture of also saying that there's other people with the same objection. So you're putting them in a classification and then taking that classification and you're showing what you've been able to demonstrate with that in the past. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you're also completely rejecting what they're saying.
And
Same
you're
time.
not even. You're
You are,
acknowledging it. You're acknowledging it. Like, that's cool. That's cool. Other people have said that too. But guess what? At the end of the day, do you want your house sold? Right?
Yeah.
Like this is what's happened in the past.
Do you want to sell it for more? Do you want to sell it faster? Do you want somebody who
Are
has
you
way
gonna
more
be
experience?
answer everybody that knocks on the door? While you're working. If you got a house that's like that, you probably don't have the time to be showing your house around all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I do with FSBOs? I'm like, how long have you been trying to sell it for? A year? Really? Don't you think it's time? But I'm like, a year, and
No, you guys don't even know.
let me get Joe in there. What do you have to lose?
I was trying to get Ari to make phone calls live, but Ari doesn't actually like making calls in front of people, which I'm sure everybody here we all feel the same way, right? Nobody wants to sit here and make calls. Yeah. Well, Ari makes calls in his underwear at home. Like, come here, buddy. A little peanut butter. I know what you do, buddy. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Anybody want to make a cold call now, live, in front of everybody? You do. Anybody? Definitely. Does anybody have a phone number you want to do? You'll do it? Cold call, man. You know I'm a dialer. He is a dialer, but you're not a realtor, right? I'm not a realtor. Yeah. You guys know that if you're not a realtor, you can't call to. Well, you can call to see if they want to sell, but you can't. It wouldn't be a good example for this.
Some people hire like out of country people.
Wholesalers?
No. They do it too though.
Whatever.
So dial all day.
Anyway, so because of that, and honestly, thank you guys for coming. There's a lot of people here. I was gonna do a whole session on just us dialing. Ari's not a realtor, no, but he's deflecting to me. He's calling to talk about me. We do it in a different way. Yeah, I'm the one giving the information. He doesn't give any information. He doesn't talk about property value. He doesn't do it. He said it in the beginning. He doesn't give any information on the phone, right? You're just there to call, intro, book appointment. Purpose of the call, introduction to the call, sell value, and ask for the appointment. I'm going to share these notes with you guys via email. And then me and Ari are also next week going to make a 1 hour dialing session. We're going to record it for YouTube, and you guys, I'll share it with everybody as well. And I think that'll be very helpful.
Chime in one last thing. I don't know if I said this before, but it's very, very important. People are attracted to alpha males and alpha personalities. You know, and again.
You're going to go Andrew Tate on me right now?
Speaking of, where is he?
Bites into a steak.
You know, and I can't stress this enough. If you project that over the phone, people are attracted to it, and they're going to be attracted to you, and they're going to listen to you. And people want to be, you know, their hands to be held. And if you come across like that, strong, powerful, alpha-ish, then they'll listen. So I cannot stress that. If you do the opposite, if you're weak, if you stumble, if you're not confident, if you don't, you know, not confident in yourself or what you're selling, you're dead in the water. So can't stress that enough.
So we're opening up to questions now. Anybody has any questions?
I have a quick question. So,
Introduce yourself.
My name is Vinny. I'm a realtor for about exactly less than a year. So with your approach of being confused on the phone and his approach of just being too friendly, for someone like me or for someone that's starting with cold calling, like if your approach is not working well, should you change it or should you keep doing the same thing until you perfect it?
It's a good question. It's a good question because we're all so different, right? How's your personality?
I'm more of an outgoing guy. I'm more of like, hey, how are you? How's your day going? Like that type. I'm not more of like the confused type.
No, we're all
never tried.
We're all confused. Trust me.
That's new to me. Like the way you cold call is pretty impressive. It was like, hey, are you the guy selling this house on the street? All that. So I'm more of the outgoing personality. Mm-hmm. So should I keep working towards perfecting my way, or maybe explore other ways?
You want to take it?
We'll both answer it.
Okay. So you guys watch baseball? Anyone watch baseball here? Yeah. So every batter has a different weakness and strength. So a pitcher won't pitch one guy the same way he pitches another guy. So I think, how long have you been calling for?
Cold calling, I started recently, less than 2 months ago.
Once you do it, then you be good enough to know, just as a pitcher knows what to throw to another batter. Like I said before, once the guy picks up, you'll know how to hit him. Yeah. Hello. Hey, John. Hey, what's going on? You know, or hello. Is this this is Joseph? So once you keep doing it subconsciously, I think your mind will take over, and then you'll have a number of pitches in your brain to know how to attack a certain caller. You know.
What do they say about realtors? What are we? We're matchmakers, right? You are. You are John, and you have no kids, and you need a single-family house or a two-family house, whatever it is. And I know of a house that might suit your needs. But if I showed you a $2 million house in like Paramus, you're not fucking buying that. Every house is situational. Every buyer is situational. Every seller is situational. It's a bunch of people pairing up with a bunch of things that they need. Nobody's not buying a house that they don't need. Maybe very rarely, you know? But if I'm buying a house, it's because I need it. If I'm buying a two-family in Clifton, it's because I need a two-family somewhere. And Clifton is central to everything, right? We are matchmakers. So you're doing the same thing with cold calling. You're matchmaking your pitch to whoever it is that you're calling, and you got 2 seconds to figure it out. And you will figure it out if you keep practicing.
Yeah, the more you do it, the more you'll see what your strengths are. So let's say sometimes I use one pitch. I got shot down for hours. I'm like, what's going on? Then I myself, is it my energy? No. Is it the way I feel? No. Is it the pitch? I changed the pitch and I started working again. So mentally or write stuff down and say, hey, you know what? I did this today, it didn't work for me. I did this today, why did it work with me? Was it because I was feeling like this? Was it the pitch? Was it the person I talked to? And the more calls you make and the more yeses, once you start getting yeses, your confidence just goes through the roof, and then subconsciously you learn, then in your brain you're like, you know what? If I got 5 yeses, I'm gonna get 5 more yeses. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
I have a question.
Allah?
The voicemail part.
The voicemail? Very simple
You
voicemail.
don't leave.
You don't leave them?
No, I'm asking, do you leave a voicemail and what do you say if you do?
It's been a while since I left the voicemail, but you leave them. You leave them, right?
So I got a call back from a lady in Jersey with Mike. So she called me back and she's like, is this Ari? I'm like, yeah. She goes, why don't you tell me why, I'm like, ma'am, if I did that, I'd make 10 calls a day. So I pitched her. I ended up connecting her with Mike, actually. So I said, hey, this is Ari, call me back, and I leave my number. I don't say I'm a realtor.
So that's it. I love that.
Yeah.
Nothing. No information. Hi, my name is Ari. Call me back, please. What the fuck? This guy found my dog from 10 years ago. This is the motherfucker who hit my car at ShopRite. So, very basic ass voicemail.
And when they call me back, what I do sometimes, you guys can use this. Oh, you're lucky you called me back. I go, I'm gonna make you some money. And they start laughing sometimes. Oh yeah? Who are you? I work with Joe Z's. You live in South River?
It's all amazing pitches.
Joel does $200 million a year.
Joe Z's, that's it. Stop there. Just tell.
Joe Z's, hang up. I work with Joe Z's. I just calling to tell you. Do you guys want to make some money? That's fucking great. It all goes back to the reason and your tone and your energy when you sit down to make the call to begin with. Don't fucking do it if your energy is low. If you're not feeling right, save it. You have a question back here? Did you have a question? Claudia? Guys, this is Claudia. She's the #1 realtor in Secaucus. Crushing it. Over 20 million in sales. It's a beast. Just this year. I'm talking about the year to date. Relax, all right?
What is the best time to call? Like around what time?
Ooh.
That's a great
I found that 5 to 6.
PM?
Yeah, but I want to get your take on it.
I have an agent that will not let me call. She's like, call for me Wednesdays and Thursdays. She goes between 3 and 5. She goes, because research says that's what the best times
3 to
are.
5?
3 and 5, that's what she told me.
Wednesday and
Wednesday
Thursday?
and Thursday, that's what she said. Now,
There you have it, folks.
Are you guys doing any texting?
Texting?
Yeah, like text marketing, like reaching out to.
I'd use text to follow up. Yeah. If I get your full contact, let me just say something too. This has nothing to do with cold calling. You guys should have this information no matter what you do for work. Your contact list in your phone. A lot of people don't know this, but your contact list in your phone book, right? This is another key to my success. I have over 16,000 phone numbers in my phone, and they are all saved. First name, last name, property address, email address, cell phone number, directly how the iPhone field has it. I found out that social media picks up on those contacts organically as people you might know or suggestions through your phone book. LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, WhatsApp. It all does it automatically. So if you're a prospect, best believe your name, phone number, email address, your property address is in my phone book before I do anything. And then I call, shitty voicemail, text message once we connect, confirmed appointment, business card, and an email, and follow up till I fucking die. Yeah. Daniel?
I just wanted to address the like the mass text sort of marketing thing.
Mass text marketing.
So on that note, we do also have KV Core at the office too, which you can take like an entire database of contacts, plug it in. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but yeah, you could plug it into KV Core. It takes like, they'll do it for you. It takes like a day or so, and then you could do mass text marketing right through there. Write out one message, send to all.
Yeah, no.
Could be
I've
hundreds, thousands.
I've done it. I was just wondering if you guys implement it yourselves.
You guys don't have industry restrictions as far as mass marketing through text?
There is.
CCP
Yeah, there
pages
is.
and stuff like that?
There is.
I don't do it. I find it spam.
It is spammy, but so, I mean, dripping email campaigns are a little bit, whatever, like, email blasts in general.
Yeah, it definitely works. I
Yeah.
just personally, I want to, like, I'm very different. I operate very differently than most realtors. I go on a listing appointment with nothing. I go there, just myself, a smile, cup of coffee for the buyer or seller, and I go there to look at the property and build value. That's all I care about.
Where you keep the listing agreement, like, rolled up real tight in your pocket.
I put it in their mailbox before I walk in the house.
Oh, yeah.
No, everything is e-signature. I e-signature everything. Yeah, but I've known you for too long.
Everybody's in sales and everyone gets no's. I mean, you could have your worst day, go bad listing, come back to the office, make calls, 50 people yell at you and hang up. Do not let that deter you, because you can make the last call of the day and get the biggest property.
Your energy is everything.
So,
No. Well, I know the house. I know the square footage. I know the year built. I know everything about the house and the person and what they owe on the mortgage and everything before I go on the appointment. And I'm just there to build value and make jokes.
Yeah, but you have to bring comps. If you don't bring comps and they want to price it egregiously high and it's not worth that, you have to explain to them.
Yeah, I can do that. I memorize it.
But don't they want to see something, like pictures of the house that you're comping?
I've never experienced that, honestly. When I've gone on an appointment and a seller said, yeah, I'm thinking 1-2, right? I'll say, but 98 Sherman just sold for $1 million and it was 200 square feet bigger. And it was way more updated. What are you going to say to that as a seller? Fuck. Yeah. This guy actually knows. Fuck. Does anybody have any questions before we raffle off the iPad? You didn't sign in?
Oh, I did.
You did? Okay. Melly? Oh, she's in the bathroom. Okay.
Anything off topic?
Anything off topic?
Yeah, like the NAR settlement. How are you guys?
The NAR settlement. Ooh. I made a whole YouTube video about two things, the NAR settlement and the buyer's agency agreement.
I'll pull that up.
I'll answer. You know, we're fucked. No, I'm kidding.
Where I just said, find a new job.
Well, honestly, that settlement is the reason why I'm doing this training. Because you gotta, what I've learned in this business is you have to shift your business to what's happening in the business. Yeah. If the market, now it's like really just listings. But 7 years ago when I started, it was, ooh, rates are low. Let's get as many buyers as we can because that's what we want. Fucking anybody's buy a house, you know? But now when rates went up, you're like, fuck, I gotta get listings. God damn it. You want to try to be a happy medium between both. I can guarantee you 5 years plus in the business, you'll be 70% list side and 30% buy side. And the only reason you're doing buy side is because somebody's listing to buy. When I first started, When I first started, I was 70% buy side. I was accredited buyer's representative, right? Thought I was cool. 70% buyers, 30% sellers, I barely had listings. Now I'm 90% listings. Because beginning of this year, I said, I don't want to fucking work with buyers. The only buyers I'm working with are people that are selling their house.
like sellers have gotten smarter now, that you see that a lot of them are like younger millennial sellers who are very tech savvy, like they understand digital marketing, and they understand that like getting a photographer is very cheap. Professional photography, videography, floor plans, even all that, it's not that expensive. And they understand like how to use Zillow, and a lot of them work from home and they have the time to like open the door. Like, do you think that we're gonna see a lot more of that as like more younger people start selling their homes, and like people like 80-year-old grandma, you know, is not going to be? And like, I feel like those people are the ones who feel like they need us more because they just don't know anything else.
Great question. That is like part of the listing pitch. I'm going to give you guys a peek at my listing pitch because you guys took the time out to come. These guys are very good realtors over here. And I will say, if somebody hits me with that, right, I'll say, listen, when I list your house, I don't just put a sign and I put it on the MLS, because that's what every other realtor does. I spend money on professional photography. I do a nice video. I post it on the social media accounts that I've spent the last 10 years building up with over 250,000 individual viewers. It's true. Between Instagrams, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, WhatsApp, I have built it up. It takes time to build up your social media. And sellers don't know that, so you got to tell them. You guys should take a listing presentation from Prestige, and it has all that info in there. But I say I don't just put a sign and I don't just put it on the MLS. I actually put it in multiple MLSs, which is more costly. And I'm at every inspection, I'm at every appraisal, I'm at every personal showing. I know exactly what's going on with the buyer. And I take all the years' experience that I've been doing this. I can see when a deal is going to fall apart. I can see if it's a serious buyer. I can smell if the buyer has an extra $50,000 to play with. Hiring me is hiring all the experience that I have. It's kind of hard to say no to that.
Joe, on that same note, like the same generation that's like super tech savvy would also value convenience over anything, right? Like Uber Eats, Amazon Fresh. You're literally like all your errands, you're contracting them out to a service instead of paying for them yourself, right?
Yeah.
Why would listing your house be any different?
They don't like personal interaction like that either, you know. And the younger they are,
all the weirdos that come, all the weirdos Joe has to deal with all the time.
Shit.
I deal with some crazies.
You hired me.
Crazy attracts crazy.
Crazy attracts crazy. Probably true. Probably very true. But yeah, I appreciate that, Oscar. Thank you. It's true. People who actually know the value in whoever they're hiring, they're not going to fight you on it. The only people you're going to fight are the people that don't understand the value. And if you come across educated, aggressive, and confident, it's kind of hard to argue with it. And if they don't see that, then you move on. I just lost $1 million listing. It's okay. I got another one for 700. It's okay. It's part of the business. It happens.
I think too, and knowing you and having dealt with you, both personally and in business, part of the, I think, draw to you is the confidence. I as an attorney, I probably could do my own.
You legally can.
I probably could, right?
You can. You can sell your house and buy another house, represent yourself. Not a big deal.
Right, but there's one thing I don't want to deal with, and it's problems, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with problems that come up. I don't want to deal with issues that come up. I'd rather have you. You've been there. You've done it. And I'm confident in that, so I'd rather have you do that because you have the experience. So when you say to me, hey, Dave, don't worry about anything that's going to happen. And we've had that conversation, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about anything that's going to happen. Whatever happens, I have an answer for it. And then for me, I'm like, I'm good. I don't have to worry about anything.
Well, not necessarily.
You know what I mean?
But for the most part, yeah, for sure. If you come across as confident, nobody's going to really question you. But in order to come across as genuinely confident, you have to know your shit. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're talking about. It was a house that's 90% complete in Bloomfield. She called me. It was a referral. I went there, and right off the bat, she tells me, listen, you don't got this listing. I'm interviewing realtors. I'm like, no problem. I would love to interview for the job. That's why I'm here. So she walks me through the house. The second we walk in, the fucking railings are fucked. I look at her. I'm like, are you fixing these railings? She's like, I'm working on it. My railing guy fucked me. I'm like, no problem. I have a beautiful railing guy. Here's his number, right? Continue on through the house. We start talking about capital gains somehow, right? Because it's an investment for her. She's like, what can I do? I'm like, you know what? I'm not a CPA. I'm not going to answer that, but I have a CPA on my phone book. I use him personally. Here's his number. By the time we finished walking through that house, I had sent her 6 solid contacts. And she was so fucking impressed with it. She's like, honestly, I'm going to cancel the 3 other appointments I have later today. It's yours. The listing is yours. Because of how many people I sent her just sitting there.
Last 2.
What are we raffling off, Joe?
I'm gonna go show you.
We're raffling off an iPad mini and a pair of Bose Quiet Comfort headphones. Yeah, the headphones are like $300. Are you guys excited to make some money? Are you excited to hit the phones? Yeah. Are you excited to get listings? Are you excited to come back to Prestige? All right, these are a pair of Bose Quiet Comfort headphones. They're brand new. I don't know where the charger is. And here's an iPad mini, also brand new. I don't know where the charger is. But it comes with a case and a glass screen protector. Still under warranty from Zag. All right, shake it up. The first person who won is Alexandra Mazzone. I will let you choose. Which one do you want?
Make the AP.
There you go.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
For me, girls, guys.
Okay. The next person is Carlos Gabriel.
Here you go, brother.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
And there's a bonus prize. This has to be a realtor. Claudia Rosing. Here's a list of 50 people who've owned their house for over 20 years.
Wow, are you serious? Is this a joke?
No, I'm serious.
Okay. I'll definitely be calling these people.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love me in and
Thanks for coming.
out. I'm feeling